Hey, what's up everybody? Just wanted to show the little portable setup that I use for ceremonies, where I do use battery power to basically just run this system, and some portable battery speakers that I have. But yeah, I just wanted to go through this setup, which is, a little bit crazy and a little bit of 3D printing, designing that took some time to get everything how it is now, including making sure there's proper venting and all that, and some acrylic that I cut in the bottom so there's more storage underneath this case, with cables and all that. But I kind of wanted to just give a rundown of what it officially looks like after the setup and going, obviously with with XLRs and all that. All right, so first up we have this deck saver specifically for the CQ12T. This is what I'm using, right? I don't use a lot of channels. I'm not in a band, I'm a DJ, so I require less, but I do require more of the technology aspect for microphones and all that. But this is cool. This deck saver has definitely been like a stress reliever for me, because then obviously there's foam that goes up here when it closes case, but I'm gonna go ahead and tear everything down so you guys can kind of see what's underneath and all that. Don't mind all the extra cables. I have all these extra cables that I just had, but if I wanted hotspot, I already have a cable ready to go for anybody that might need charging or whatever. Or for me, that oh, I did paint it the other day. I was painting some stuff and I got some paint on it, so I'm gonna have to replace this cable. Hey, I'm glad I'm doing this video, because now I see this. Anyways, this connects to the router and it provides a hotspot, right? So I connect it to my phone, and whatever's routing to that router, right, gets Wi-Fi, internet, and all that. But right now, I have a Ethernet cable ran into the mixer, into the travel router, and it's broadcasting two signals, a 5G and a 2.4 gigahertz, just in case. It does have these nifty little antennas, and it is under Velcro. So I've learned to use Velcro for everything, to measure, to do whatever, and then drill. So you'll see in a moment what I mean. But yeah, that's how that's set up. I do have some more chargers and stuff going underneath, so when I show up to wherever I'm at, I just plug that main cable, and underneath it runs the extension to power everything up. So I'm gonna start tearing down, but before we do that, I do wanted to show that I did have these 3D printed. I do have a 3D printer, and I have a little experience on CAD software. So what I like about this specific 3D stand here, that it is tough to get this out, and I wanted it so that I leave the case on, and when it's time to go, I don't even have to mess with the case. So the iPad, obviously I'm just going to push it aside. You kind of see I did drill some holes, and like I mentioned earlier, there was Velcro there that did help me to get the alignment correctly. I do, if I wanted to take the iPad out, I could, and it just fits snug in there. But as you can see, I wanted it where it fits in case of weather or whatever. I can just close the lid and not worry about electronics. So I did measure the distance from here to there, and it's perfect. Yeah, so next I'm gonna power down the mixer and disconnect this. I do have a right angle cable. I don't know if you can see it, but I do have some cables routed through here, and I'll show you how this mixer, it's just like perfect. It doesn't move around or do anything where you're gonna be worried about having them move. But there's a right angle cable, so it doesn't hit the back. And I do have these 3D printed parts. I'm gonna take this off here. Sorry, I had to cut off the feed because it started downpouring. So if you hear some rain in the background, I'm sorry. Anyways, if we take this off, you can kind of see there that I do have these 3D printed parts here, just to hold the mixture in place, and with more Velcro, obviously with the sticky part, whatever, behind these, so they can be adjustable, and obviously to let some of that air, hot air, go out, and also from underneath. But as you can see, I can route cables through here, and that's why I made some holes in between them. That way it's just easier for in case I need to run whatever XLRs or whatever, it just makes it easier. As you can see, I did run these the right angle and the Ethernet cable through there, And if I wanted to, you know, take something off from underneath, and I just, you know, take these off, right? So don't mind me, I do have a mess because the last gig I just kind of threw everything out there. And I'll show you here, I'll give you a close-up of what's in here because I did wanted to show you something specifically that I also 3D printed, just so that, you know, you're aware of what's happening. But let me get this closer. All right, sorry, I did have to clean some of that glue residue because I crazy glued these 3D printed parts that I made. They're kind of like just little lips, right, that sit in the acrylic. So this is the acrylic, clear acrylic that I talked about earlier, that where the mixer fits in. So I did print these so that way it's just easier to, right, when you put this on there, the measurement of it just fits right into the mixture and it doesn't move around. So you can kind of see that. And then back here, that's why I said it's important to have those clips. That way this doesn't move around as, you know, much while it's closed. So let me put this mixture aside. All right, so here's the acrylic that I made. Basically, I just traced the cardboard and get the right measurements of it. It's obviously nasty just because, yeah, when I had it, it was a one that I had. Again, those are the parts that I 3D printed. And sorry if it's like loud because it's raining, but yeah. So here's more cables, and you can see I did create some little like stands that I 3D printed like all around through the case to kind of hold that pressure. And I did glue them as well from on there. There used to be foam down here, and I feel like that would have a lot of impact on heat, right? Because, you know, with it blowing, the mixture blowing hot air through the bottom of it, I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't an issue anymore. So yeah, and as you can see, I do have a charger there, or a power extension that just wrangles around and hooks up to that. Here's the AC adapter for the part, and here's the right angle. I did just kind of, here's what it hooks up to. It's just an extension. I can link that on the bottom on the description, which I gotta fix the tape for. But basically, it's just a little extension that just turns it to a right angle, and I just taped it. Use some electrical tape. But yeah, as you can see, there's various of these parts that I 3D printed, same height, so that way when that acrylic sits on top of it, it's just perfect. And you can see this is the power for the iPad, this is for the travel router, this is for the mixer. I could add more, but you know, I just didn't want to stress the battery out or whatever when I'm doing my events. And you know, I do have plenty of more space that's trash for more cables. Here's that anger adapter I was talking about. This is just an extra one just in case. So that's what it looks like. It hooks up to that end, and just the right angle hooks up to the other end and to the back of the mixer. And it works just fine. And I'll put it back here just to show you guys what it looks like, you know, once it's all back again. But just wanted you to see, you know, some 3D printed stuff that I did, in case you were interested of maybe doing something similar, right? But I'm gonna go ahead and put everything back. And I did cut these slots here to kind of let some cables go out just like that. And I could zip tie them too, but you can see with those little stands, see them there, it's holding all that pressure, right? So it doesn't stress any of the stuff like the AC. I know obviously that runs pretty hot, the AC block, so I didn't want to touching that. This is all plastic, so I wouldn't worry about that as much. And then yeah, so let me grab the mixer again, and as you can kind of see in the bottom, there's a fan underneath it, so there's a gap and there's glue residue still. I need to clean this mixer. I'm gonna put it right in those slots, make sure it fits in there correctly. And yep, all good, perfect. Now next up is the 3D prints here. Oops, don't mind the mess again. I did have a smaller, like a thinner one. That it goes like right at the end of it, somewhere around here. So sometimes what I do, obviously because of the deck saver, I do have to redo this, like kind of take a guess at where they're gonna go so that they're not in the way of the cables back here, because I can't push this any further down because of the Velcro. So I'll guess there, and then I'll take the mixer out and then just push them down more. And it is pouring now, so sorry if you hear a bunch of rain. So there's that, and I just slide that in there, and boom, there you go. So now it's got some. So now it's holding that stress, right? That this mixture, so when it's closed and traveling, it won't go anywhere. And obviously with having a foam, I do have the foam pad that goes on the lid that I put on there just to kind of hold it in place. There's a, look at that, I made it big enough to fit a whole XLR head through there, which is nice. And I'll hook up the power next. I'll run it through there to the channel, plug it in somewhere there. I'm just gonna try to set it back up as to how I had it, if I can find the freaking perfect. And then the Ethernet cable, a little flat one that came with the router. Nice. And yeah, see, that's pretty much it. So it's centered, is well placed, and that's what it looks like. I do have, let me see, I'm gonna show you. So this is what I cut off here to fit on that lid. Sorry there. That's what it looks like. And obviously it's nice there. But I want to go back to, again, showing you the deck saver, because the deck saver, and I love that thing. Without that thing, I would stress so much, man. Like, I would be like, oh, I hope this mixer's fine. But now that this is good, see, this is what I mean. You got to measure these correct or put them in the right spot. Otherwise, the deck saver part gets in there, but I'm okay with that. There's a deck saver protecting the screen. Obviously, there's not a protective part for this, which I wish there was. Obviously, they just have it, or they made it this way, so it could be ran like this. And let me just put all the cables back and show you how easy this thing is to close. Obviously, end of show, we just, blah, blah, blah. Throw everything in. Get all this stuff put back in. So run the power as well. And, I could have those outside, I could make those outside connections, but I feel like they'd be in the way and stuff. And to me, it's just easier where everything's like set like this, right? Just grab more stuff. And I think that's it, right? See, that didn't take long. And obviously, there you go. Close. Fits perfect. Perfect. I don't even have to worry about anything sticking out or anything like that. And if it does rain, like it's raining right now, yeah, I'd be worried. That's just some glue. Those are the holes that I used to screw those that iPad stand, and I did crazy glue, so that's just glue residue. So yeah, glue stuff too, just to make sure that it stays. That's what it looks like there, and hopefully you guys like it. Let me know if you have any questions on it, if you want to do something similar, and if you want some of this 3D printed parts. I do have a website where I do sell a bunch of the speaker clips to manage cabling and all that, and also for lighting tubes and all that. I'll also link that in the description. So thanks for watching, guys. This is Ivan DJ Superfly signing out. Peace.